Hey everyone, it's Brandy and welcome back to my channel, Brandy Janae's Bookshelf. Today I'm here to do a pretty chill video. I'm going to be doing two different tag videos. Initially I was just going to be doing the get to know the romance reader tag, but I figured because I also wanted to do the meet the booktuber tag, I was going to do this back during the reading rush, but I kept forgetting. So I figured because I didn't do it then, I would just do it at the end of this one, just so you guys can get to know a little bit more about me. So like I said, I'm going to be starting off with the get to know the romance reader book tag, which is the main portion of this video. This tag was created by Bree, and I will link her blog, which is called Falling for Romance, down in the description box so you guys can go check that out. As you could probably guess from the title, this is pretty much all about romance. So number one is, what is your romance origin story? So pretty much how you got into reading romance. And honestly, I don't really remember. I feel like I've always been one of those people for as long as I can remember. Like once I started really paying attention to storylines, I have loved romance, and this is from TV shows and movies. And even when I was reading, like once I started thinking about romance that way, I started reading that in like teen books especially. And I know that growing up, hopefully my mom isn't watching this, but she used to have books, which I now know is erotica, and I was a little kid reading her books. You know, you have that parent who is reading stuff and then you're like, what you reading? And they're just like, oh, don't worry about it. It's like, I want to read that because I really love to read. And she was just like, no, you can't read that. But you know, I was at home a lot, so like I said, hopefully my mom isn't watching that. I grew up reading her books, and yeah, found out a lot through that. But anyway, like I said, I've pretty much always been into romance, and I don't really know how I got into it. I don't think there's any one book that I first started with that I was just like, okay, this is a book that got me wanting to explore more of the genres. I know I started with like contemporaries that had romances in them, like Sarah Dessen, that led into my like paranormal and urban fantasy that had obviously romance in it, like Vampire Academy Blue Blood series. I've been mentioning those because I reread those this year. All of the books that I remember reading growing up pretty much had romance in them, and it just naturally progressed into me trying out different types of romance and like different age categories of romance. So I don't know if I really have an origin story. It was just kind of a natural progression for me. Number two is, if you could be the heroine in a romance novel, who would be the author and what's one trope you insist be in the story? Oh, that's a good one. I kind of looked at these questions, but I didn't really think about them too much. Like, I feel like I could have several different options for this one. Like, I want to kind of say like a paranormal romance, but I don't know if I could be down for that with certain people. I don't know. I'm gonna go the safe route, and I'm gonna say I thought I had an answer, but I just looked at my shelf and now I'm having a hard time picking between Alyssa Cole and Helen Huang, because they both have things that I really like about their writing and the way, you know, the way the romance comes together. You know what? I'm gonna go with Alyssa Cole just because I've only read one Helen Huang book. And one trope that I would insist on, I'm gonna name two because I can't pick, but one would probably, which is probably like my main choice, would be like forced proximity, because I think if that's done well, that could be like a really good romance. The other one, it's kind of a stretch for me because I feel like this is the year that I've really been getting more into it, but I would have to say like an age gap with an older man romance, because the ones that I have read recently have been really well done. But if I would have to choose between the two, I would probably say my one trope that I would have to pick would be close proximity, because those, yes. So Alyssa Cole with like a forced proximity. Number three is, what is a romance you've read this year that you want more people to read? Okay, so I'm gonna just go with an author, and I'm gonna say Rebecca Weatherspoon, mainly with her her book called Rave. I think that the romance was really well done, and that book had such excellent communication between the main two characters. It was just amazing. Like, there were doubts, but they ended up talking through those things. And honestly, talking about this right now, I want to reread it. I really want to get a physical copy and like read it physically and then tab it up. Number 4 is, what is your favorite romance subgenre, and what subgenre have you not read much from? So my favorite subgenre would either be contemporary or like supernatural / urban fantasy. They both have really, and most of my supernatural, or really I think all of my supernatural / urban fantasy are all technically like contemporary, because they take place in the modern world. They just have supernatural creatures. So I guess if I had to pick one, like, I feel weird because I like different things at different times. Contemporary is the one that I feel like I read the most from, but supernatural or urban fantasy is like one of my favorite things to read, just because there's like this added element, and if they're done well, then I love them. I can't pick one. Contemporary / paranormal, I guess is the best way to say that, are my two favorite, probably about even, romance subgenres. And one that I don't really reach for or read a whole lot of is like suspense / romance thriller. Number 5 is, who is one of your auto-buy romance authors? Alyssa Cole. Number 6 is, how do you typically find romance recommendations? Depends on my mood, but typically I find my recommendations on YouTube or Instagram, usually based off of people that I'm following. Sometimes I randomly stumble across something and I'm like, oh, that looks good. Also, I'm like signed up for a couple different like romance newsletters, and I get information on that. Number 7 is, what is an upcoming romance release you're excited for? So this one is kind of cheaty because it just recently came out, but first I have The Right Swipe by Alicia Rye. Also, one that's not out yet is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Number 8 is, what is one misconception about romance you really like to lay to rest? And for this one, probably that all romance novels aren't trashy. There are some really trashy romances out there, don't get me wrong. However, I feel like people who don't read the genre like to turn their nose up at romance, and I'm just like, there is a plot, and although romance is like the main focus, it isn't always the main focus. There are other things going on, and there is like more than just like people just walking around humping each other all the time, basically. Number 9 is, who's the most recent romance reading content creator you came across that you'd like to shout out? And the person that I pretty much want to give a shout out is not someone that's necessarily new to me, but I feel like this person, I have been watching their content a lot more consistently lately, and that is Stephanie from Steph's Romance Book Talk. I subscribed to her quite a bit ago, but I'm weird, and I do this thing where I subscribe to people because I'm like interested in what they're talking about, but because I think I have so many people I'm subscribed to, I get a little overwhelmed at times, and I don't always watch everyone's videos, and I honestly don't have time to watch every video that everyone uploads that I subscribe to. And then there's still so many other people that I haven't even discovered, or I'll like find a random video and I'm like, ooh, I want to watch that, I want to watch that. And but Stephanie, I have been subscribed to her at least for a year now. It could possibly be longer than that. And if not subscribed, I have been like going to her channel, like watching her content, and then one day I was like, why am I not subscribed to her yet? I constantly go look up stuff. But she reads so much romance. She does a lot of audiobooks and even just ebooks. Like, she reads a lot, and she reads a lot of different types of romance. So even things that I like, she reads a lot of things that I have never even heard of. And I like going to her channel and even just to her Instagram, where she talks about what she's currently reading, and just seeing all the different things that she's reading. And even if I'm not interested in everything, I like hearing about different things, because sometimes I'm like, ooh, that's not something I would normally pick up, but that sounds like something that might be interesting, so I will go ahead and go try it or put it on my TBR so I can know about it for later on. So like I said, she's not necessarily a new romance content creator for me, but definitely someone that I would suggest everyone go check out. She has so many recommendations and she reads so much in a year, and everything she puts out is amazing, especially if you like learning about romance. And I'm just gonna say this now, if you either have a channel or some type of anything dealing with talking about romance, let me know. Or if you know anybody that's one of your favorites, let me know, because I feel like that's one of the things I'm lacking in my subscriber base, is someone that really focuses on romance. Like I'm one of those people who reads everything. If you haven't been able to tell from my different videos, I read across a wide range of genres. However, I do like, one of my main focuses is romance. Even if I'm reading like fantasy or something, I like 90% of the time I want romance in my books. Like, I don't have a problem if it's not needed, but I do love a well done romance. So like I said, if you're someone that either has some type of outlet where you talk about romance, or if you have any favorite romance content creators, definitely let me know so I can go and check out their channels and subscribe and support, because I love seeing that so much. Number 10 is, if someone had never read a romance before and asked you to recommend the first 3 romances that came to mind as a place to start, what would those recommendations be? So I'm just gonna say this now, it's probably gonna end up being more than 3 because I have a hard time choosing. But what I'm gonna do is recommend like generally 2 authors to check out, and then the other I'm gonna do like 2 actual books. First, I'm gonna say, these are all out of order, but Alyssa Cole. Alyssa Cole is an author that I discovered last year, I believe, when A Princess in Theory came out, and since then she has released 3 full-length novels in the series and 2 novellas. I didn't take the other novella down, but with each book I have loved this series so much more. Next, I'm gonna say Rebecca Weatherspoon. I already mentioned this, but the books that I have read from her I have loved, especially Rafe and then her novella So Sweet. As far as like actual novels, I'm gonna say The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. I know that this is not everyone's favorite, but I feel like if you're looking for a sweet romance with smutty moments and a character that is not like a typical like romance main female character, this is the way to go. The main female character has Asperger's and she's not really good with the physical aspects of romance, really like the emotional aspects as well. So she's kind of learning both through this escort, and I think this one was just really well done, especially for a debut novel. It wasn't perfect, it's not going to be the one for everyone, but this is one that I would suggest for first-time romance readers. And then also the final one that I have to recommend is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. This is another book that I did not think it was perfect. However, I feel like as far as the romance, this one was also one that was really well done, especially comparing it to all of the other novels that I have read from them recently. I think the love interest of the story, they have an interesting dynamic, and it's not perfect. It's not like they meet and they fall in love and everything is all hunky-dory, you know, everything is not all fine from the beginning. They have this really awkward first encounter and they keep running into each other unexpectedly, and then like they don't expect to actually fall for each other, and it kind of just happens and they don't really know where to go because things, like I said, just kind of happen. That is all I have for the Meet the Romance Reader book tag. Once again, created by Bree from Falling for Romance. Like I said at the beginning, I'm going to quickly do the Meet the Booktuber tag. Just a little bit more about me, not specifically about anything reading wise, I don't think. So the first question is age and location. I am 27, just turned 27 actually a couple weeks ago now. On July 24th, and I am currently living in Denton, Texas. Yeah, I don't care about the city. I'm never out, so even if you come here you probably won't see me unless you're like actually trying to meet me somewhere. Yeah, I don't go outside unless I'm going to work and occasionally to the store. So yeah, I'm from Illinois. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, though, in case you guys are curious. But yeah, that's where I'm currently living. Number 2 is any siblings, and if so, what order? So I have one older brother, and I am the second oldest, and then I have technically I have 4 younger brothers. One is on my father's side, but hopefully that makes sense. Number 3 is what do you do for work? Right now I am currently a PBX operator, or basically customer service at a hospital. So you know, if you call, or the operator at the hospital. Number 4 is do you have any kids? I do not. I think my little brothers are more than enough. Number 5 is do you have any pets? My little brothers, do that count? Okay, no, just playing. Technically no. We have a bird, but I don't really consider that my bird because I just don't. I don't know. I guess technically yes, but no. Number 6 is can you drive? Kind of. I've mentioned this in a couple of videos recently, but I have been working on driving, like learning how to drive and getting comfortable and everything, so I can get my license before this year is over with. Fingers crossed. I've been saying that for the past couple of years, but I haven't actually done it. But I have actually found someone who's been taking me out driving, so I've actually been getting practice in. Number 7 was what was your favorite subject in school? I was probably the odd one out. I really didn't like English, mainly because I don't like feeling like I'm forced to read anything, which is why I have a hard time reviewing books, and I feel like I have to get it done. My favorite subject was probably math. I liked that there was always like one answer and you had to figure out how to get to that right answer. I was actually pretty good at math. It was like something like a puzzle for me, and I really enjoyed that. And finally, number 8 for this tag is what is your favorite color? And I would have to say probably a mix between purple and yellow / gold. I like gold, but I count like yellow and gold together. So if I would have to pick one, probably yellow / gold. That is the end of the Meet the Booktuber tag. And with that, this video is officially done. That's all I have for you guys in this video. If you like to, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more from me, make sure you subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.